Hello, beautiful souls. It is 1101 on the timer. I just restarted this because I was stumbling over my words too much. I was very frustrated writing this transmission, this message, welcoming in all the elementals, earth, air, wind, fire, water, ether. All of our team members of unconditional love and light that are here for our highest and best good, through and with divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine power, divine wisdom, divine knowledge, divine remembrance, divine magic. Welcoming in all of the nature spirits, as always. Okay, so I basically have been spending all my morning, I spent all my morning rewriting a transmission I was listening to. So there's a reason why I was guided to literally write the whole thing down, and now I'm going to translate it and share that message with you through my channel, through my frequency, my flavor, my color, my essence, because that's what I was guided to. The information wasn't just for me, but it is also for you, because when I'm literally guided to rewrite and translate a whole transmission from another channel, there's no coincidence in that, okay? So just breathe, just settle in. This might be a little bit, I'm trying to keep this at about 30 minutes, but we'll see what happens. And then there will be other content that I will also be doing. Also, I've been feeling a little frustrated, which is interesting because there's a message of frustration in here. Physically, like energy feels anxious and frustrated. So that could be collective stuff or just my own stuff. I haven't tapped deeply, and I was frustrated when I was writing this, scribbling and scratching out 144 on the timer. So maybe that's a sign that you've been feeling frustrated. That is part of the beginning of this message. Okay. All right. So what came in for me personally while I was doing some stuff before I sat down to listen to this transmission, excuse me, was the fog has been lifting. The fog is lifting. The veil is very thin right now. Your personal veil and the collective veil. What you have been veiling from yourself has been lifting and is lifted. And what source has veiled from you and what source has veiled you from, and what is source basically cloaking you, and you will be unveiled shortly. Thunderstorms might be significant, thin like fog, symbolisms around fog, thin veils, thin sheer curtains. And what also came through is walking into and stepping into more of who you are, who you truly are, more and more. Stepping fully into your truth, into your authenticity, into your true authentic soul essence, frequency, and energy. You have been going through training, healing, shedding layers upon layers upon layers. A lot of generational stuff also. You've been integrating, recalibrating over and over and again. You've been receiving activations and integrations. You have been going through initiations and upgrades, okay? All right, that's what came through to me before I sat down and listened to this message. And when I started listening to it, I realized pretty quickly that this is a message I was meant to translate, hence write, script out, whatever we call that, and share it with you through my channel, through my specific frequency, energy, flavor, color, and essence. Because whoever's receiving my messages through my channel, you resonate, and you source knows, your team knows, your highest knows that you are ready to receive whatever comes through me, and whatever codes, activations, and frequencies and energies that you're meant to receive through my specific channel. I want to make a note. Today is the 31st of March, 2026. All videos are timeless. Remember, everything's in the quantum, in no time and no space, but I like to note that whether you receive it now or in the future. I also want to note that 7:11 p.m. tomorrow, the full moon, the super full pink moon in Libra will rise in 12 degrees. It'll be directly opposite of Aries, which is very significant, okay? All right, so just breathe, and then again, highly recommend journaling what you feel called to journal. Note words, keywords, key codes, things like that, because there is activations, there's frequencies, and there's energies in here that you are meant to receive right here, right now. Okay, I am a little lethargic. I'm a little, I feel a little out of it. Like I said, frustrated, kind of like discombobulated. I slept really good, but I had a huge, powerful meditation activation last night. Yeah, and today's a rest and integration day, a sacred bath day, all of that. Okay. Okay. So, have you been wrestling with a particular frustration? Right? You've been feeling this interior shift. Your interior world has already shifted, but the external reality hasn't caught up yet. All right? All right, you have already become somebody different. You know this, okay? You know you have already become someone different. Your identity has already transformed at its roots, okay? And yet the life around you, the relationships, the circumstances, the daily environment still largely reflect the old versions of yourself. 544 on the timer. All right? That existed before this passage began. This gap is real, and the frustration living inside of it is valid. This lag is not a failure of your manifestations. It is the natural cadence of how energetic transformation moves into physical reality. The interior must always precede the outer. The seed must complete its transformation underground. Before visible, the first growth appears, before the visible of the first growth appears above the surface. It all happens underground first, okay? The divine timing surrounding your life right now is not indifferent to your readiness. It is calibrated to it with a precision that your current vantage point cannot yet fully perceive. So I apologize because I'm stumbling a little bit. Just breathe. What is being assembled for you on the other side of this in between is not being delayed. It is being prepared. So if you've been feeling frustrated, this is your confirmation that it is not being delayed. It is being prepared. And I know, I feel you. I am you. You are me. We are we. Something is shifting in the architecture of how you relate to change itself. And it deserves to be named clearly. And this is what we're going to do right now. And it deserves to be named clearly. For a very long time, your nervous system operated in a heightened, vigilant state of disrupted anything familiar. In a heightened state, in a state of heightened vigilance that disrupted anything that was familiar. That vigilance was not malfunction. It was a deeply intelligent adaptation, a biological system, a loyal biological system learning early on that instability was something to be defined or defended against. All right? Early on. So your nervous system early on learned that the instability was something to be defended against. That the known was safer than the unknown. That the cage was safer than the space outside of it, okay? That clinging to the familiar was a form of survival. And so that when life called you to something larger than your nervous system, responded by sounding every internal alarm that you had. That changes equaled threat, and the new equaled or equated to danger. But the practice you have been engaged in, whether or not you realize it, whether or not you have consciously named it as a practice, has been slowly, genuinely teaching your nervous system something different. Every time you allowed an uncomfortable feeling move through you, rather than sealing it behind distortions or distractions, every time you learned it Every time you leaned into the grief rather than rushing past it, 10001, every time you choose to inhabit the different sensations just a little bit longer, just a moment longer, that felt manageable, and discovered it did not destroy you. So every time you chose to inhabit these different sensations just a moment longer than it felt comfortable or manageable, and you discovered that it did not destroy you. All right? Each of these moments were a recalibration of your nervous system. Your nervous system has been learning at a cellular level that you are constant. That regardless of what your external environment does, regardless of what needs to be released, and regardless of what remains in flux, you remain constant. Not as a survivor of the transformation, but the author of it. All right? You remain its author. And realization that you are the anchor. You are the stabilizer. All right? You are the anchor that stabilizes you. All right? You have spent a lifetime seeking external arrangements. Okay? When you know that these things have always been available within you. Let's see here. This perhaps is the most quietly revolutionary thing that has been taking place. Perhaps the most revolutionary thing passage is delivering is quietness. There is a version of you that used to orientate entirely by what the outside world confirmed or withheld from you. If the relationship was going well, you felt worthy. If the circumstances were favorable, you felt safe. If others approved, you felt real. The external was the meter by which the internal was measured. But that orientation is dissolving. All right? And in its place, something far more desirable is being established. An inner knowing that does not require external confirmation or validation to remain steady. A sense of self that does not collapse. When the circumstances shift, a groundedness that is not dependent on the ground you're remaining unchanged. A groundedness that does not depend on the ground that you remain unchanged. This is not a small development. This is the development that makes everything coming possible, because the life being assembled for you requires a version of you who can immediately receive it. This requires a version of you who can receive it without immediately looking to the outside world to validate it is real. So I really apologize that I'm struggling with my words, the cadence, and again, we keep it real, we keep it raw, messy, and authentic, and this is how Source wants this presented. So I'm just going to keep going with it, okay? So please bear with, all right? So this is requiring a version of you who can receive it without immediately looking to the outside world to validate it is real. The signs have been arriving, all right, if you have been paying your attention to them, okay? The numbers assembling themselves in configurations that catch your eye precisely at the right moments. Conversations emerging from unexpected directions that contain exact languages that your interior life has been turning over. Opportunities presenting themselves in the precise gap left by something that you recently released. Encounters with people who carry a message, all right, sent to you that you needed, right? They sent this message to you that you didn't know you needed and that they didn't know that they were delivering it, okay? These are not random occurrences, and I've been talking about this a lot on my channel, okay? These are not random occurrences, okay? They are not coincidences. Nothing is a coincidence. These are navigational configurations. These are signals from the galactic federations of light, all right? They're also signs and synchronicities and symbolizations from your higher self, your angelic presence that walks along beside you, okay? So this is why we're always saying pay your attention to these key codes, keywords, signs, synchronicities, because it is your navigational tool. These are your clues, your pieces to your personal treasure map, which is in your quantum compass. This is how you coded yourself, right? All right. Placed in the textures of your daily experiences. These are placed in the textures of your daily experiences to confirm that you are moving in the right direction, okay? All right. That courage, it reminds you that courage, all right, that the courage that is costing you to honor your own soul. So continue to honor your own soul and follow these signs, synchronicities, and key codes. Asking you to release what no longer fits. All right? To listen to your inner voice above all the world's noise of expectations. So it's asking you to continue to listen to what no longer fits and to listen to your inner voice above the world's noise of its expectations, all right? This is not recklessness, this is precision. The field responds to your alignment in kind. All right, that word alignment has been coming up, 1711 on the timer. All right, and the more you completely orientate the truth of who you are becoming, the more clearly the confirmations will appear. So I've said this like crazy. The confirmations have been coming through like on top of each other, confirming one confirms the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. The movies, the music, the everything is just weaving this beautiful tapestry, and they're coming in droves, all right? Because I'm in alignment. All right? All right. The more clearly these confirmations will continue to appear, okay? These confirmations are not being sent from someplace outside of you. I just said that. These are codes that you coded yourself with. These are reflections of what is already active and alive in your field, in your energetic field, all right? They are being made visible in the fabric of your daily experience, in your physical 3D reality, okay? The part of you that still doubts this, that's why they're being sent to you, okay? So that's a big part of it, all right? The reason why they become more and more visible in the fabric of your daily activity is so that those parts of you that are still doubting can see this with full-blown validation, okay? Tangibly and undeniably that something is real and it's at work. Something is real and something is at work. The signs, the synchronicities, all right, that are showing up, all right, showing you your own frequency. So the signs and the synchronicities, the field, all right, these are showing you your own frequency mirrored back to you. The fact that the signs and synchronicities are increasing and intensifying now, all right, is the fact that this confirms, the fact that the confirmations are arriving more frequently with more greater intensity and precision and alignment itself is a confirmation. The frequency you are holding is clarifying. So again, that word clarification is also coming. Clear, clarity, and clarifying is the signal that you are broadcasting. So the frequency you are holding is clarifying. This is a signal you are broadcasting. It is becoming more and more coherent. Again, you're broadcasting this ripple out into the field, all right? All right. The version of you is emerging, is coming into focus. Now, I want to make a note because I made a side note for myself that on the 1st of this month, I wrote down and went deep on quantum emergence as a key code. And then I get this, right? So the version of you is emerging. So the beginning of the month, emergence was the quantum key code. And a soul in focus draws into itself, draws and attracts, right? We attract it, all right? So when a soul is in focus, it draws itself with a remarkable, sometimes breathtaking, effortlessly exactly what it needs for its next parts of this journey. So when you become in alignment and you become more and more in focus, embodying your soul, it will attract, it will draw in with efficiency, with breathtaking precision, exactly what it needs to move forward into the next parts of its journey. So pay attention to what is arriving. Receive it without deflecting it. It was sent specifically for you. All right? This message returns to where it began. All right, so we're kind of making a full circle. This message returns to where it began, because a message that honors the circular nature of all sacred messages cannot close anywhere but where it opened. Okay, only change. It can only change, but everything that has passed between it, all right, it can only change, but everything that has passed between it. You felt it in the moment that you found this message, or this message found you. All right? That quiet, inexplicable recognition. All right? And I'm talking about not just this message, but any message. You know in resonance that there is information, codes, frequencies, and energies at a soul level. That you continue to listen to something because you know your soul, there's a reason on a deep soul level, all right? So the door opening has opening from the inside. The door opening from the inside. Having moved through every moment this message has carried is the recognition you felt that first moment was your soul's acknowledging something that it has already known. So again, when you are in resonance, so not with this message or any message, it's those moments that that first recognition is that you think, you don't realize that you've listened to the whole message. 2244 on the timer. All right, it's because it's soul resonating and it's acknowledging something that it already knows inside, right? All right, it knew the grief was not a punishment but a passage. It knew that the discomfort of outgrowing of life surrounding it was not evidence of failure, but growth so complete that the container could no longer hold it. All right. It knew that the veil was lifting, that the inner voice was becoming audible, and everything being set in motion was moving towards something real. The currents are not separate. They never were. The release created the opening. The opening allowed the veil to fall, burn, and blow away. The falling of the veil finally made the inner voice audible. Finally. The inner voice, the one you have been slowly learning to trust over and over and over again. The one that feels like rebellion, sovereignty, and homecoming all at once, is the voice that's leading you across this bridge. The Libra full moon is illuminating the bridge. These currents converge here. The picture they form together is the one your soul recognized at the beginning of this message. In all of its messy, rambling, stumbling mess, it still recognized that. So there's no coincidence, all right? This is what your life has been building towards. Not despite of the grief, not despite of the confusion, and not despite of the growing pains of outgrowing a life. all right? Before the next one was fully assembled, because of all of it. Every single part of it was contributing to this. The life you are moving, emphasize, the life you are moving towards is not a fantasy. Those versions of yourself you have been glimpsing in those moments of unexpected bliss, those future versions of yourself, all right? The one moving through the world with genuine freedom and authentic purpose, unbound and unburdened by those identities that truly were not yours. That is the destination. And the distance where you are standing now and where that destination, all right, so the distance where you are standing now and where that destination is, all right, this is not measured by circumstances, timelines. It's not measured by circumstances or timelines, all right? Or the resolution of any particular thing that is still in progress. It is only measured with your willingness to keep moving through the grief without being consumed by it. Your willingness to trust the inner knowing above the fear. Your willingness to remain in the open space between what has ended and what has not yet fully arrived. That beautiful in-between. BB, beautiful in-between, okay? Without forcing premature closure, all right? Be easy on yourself during this passage. Not because what you are traversing is small, but because it is enormous. And enormously deserves gentleness. Allow the visitors of grief, excitement, confusion, the sudden surges of joy to move through you freely. And trust that they will leave as completely as they arrived. Allow yourself to be stretched by this season without demanding it arrive at its resolution before you have finished living it. Allow your nervous system to adjust. All right? Allow your nervous system its adjustment period. Okay? Allow your nervous system to adjust. As it learns the revolutionary truth that you are stable even in the middle of everything changing. All right, those chains that have been broken, and most of us have been breaking chains for our ancestors that have been bound as well. The accumulated weight that was never truly yours to carry has been set down, broken, released. The past no longer has access to the version of yourself that is fully awake. Your heart has expanded past the boundaries of what once thought it could contain. And it is preparing to receive more love, more joy, more genuine aliveness than the previous versions of you had the capacity to hold. A new foundation has been laid. It has been built. What is built upon it will hold in a way that nothing constructed from the old architecture could ever fully hold, okay? The door that opened at the beginning of this message is still open. The recognition you felt when you found this was not a coincidence. It is a coordinate. And the time to walk towards what is... And it is time to walk towards this, okay? It is not someday when these conditions are perfect. It is not when everyone around you has adjusted to who you're becoming. The time is now to walk through the door. All right? The time is now. All right? Not when pushing it down, not when the conditions are perfect, and not when those people around you have adjusted to who you are, because they will adjust to you. You don't adjust to them. You don't wait for them to adjust. The time is now to walk through the door. In this exact, imperfect, luminous, irreversible moment of your becoming. All right, walk through the door now. All right, so before we close this, you can play around with doors, because I've said this in other videos, doors are portals. Set this intention, go to your door, do if you want with any type of invocation, Huishniktiriya light language, you could sigil on the door, you walk through the door and you walk through it. Walking through that portal and closing the door behind you, taking a few deep breaths and settling into this full version of yourself. All right, so thanks for hanging out, playing and co-creating, sharing your specific frequency, energy, flavor, color, and essence to this real, raw, messy, stumbling, magical, magnificent message today, that I was guided to literally to write down in all of its frustration and its translation, and to share it with you. So again, I hope you received what you were meant to receive, that you didn't know you were ready to receive today, and that it's all perfect. Even in all of this mess, it's still perfect. And that's the point, right? That's the point. And yeah, if you feel like there's anything in there that you want to share with the collective, please feel free to in the comments. And again, we thank you for sharing your specific flavor, frequency, color, essence, frequency, and energy, because we are all collectively weaving this together. By you clicking play, because I hit record, you are now weaving in your specific quantum medicine, your quantum magic into this message as well, just by you paying your attention to it, listening to that, maybe participating in that, as well as others that will receive this in the quantum after you watch it. Okay, so again, thank you. I am you, you are me, we are we, and we are stepping through this together into this enormous next journey. Love you. Bye.